everyone, welcome back to the Ryder Games YouTube channel. My name is Jamie and I am back again today with another Gateway Island How to Play. And today we're going to be learning the 20th game in Gateway Island called Meanies in Our Midst. Meanies in Our Midst is a game for 4 to 9 players and will use the following mechanics: secret roles, bluffing, diplomacy, and social deduction. So without further ado, let's learn how to play Meanies in Our Midst. Let's get started with setup. Meanies in Our Midst will use island card 20, the wooden cubes, the cloth bag, and the 6-sided die. Start by placing the island card in the center of the table within reach of all players. Before we get into it, let's take a closer look at the island card. Here we have the Minution counter track, here the Meanie counter track, and here we have the mission requirements. Now we're going to put the following cubes in the bag. These are called faction cubes, and the amount that you put in the bag will be determined by how many players you have. For the purposes of this video, we will be setting up for a 4-player game, but make sure to check the rule book to ensure you have the right number of cubes for your player count. For a 4-player game, it will be 3 green and 1 red. We're going to put those right in the bag. Next, each player will draw a faction cube, keeping it secret from other players. This cube indicates which team you'll be part of for the entire game and must always be kept a secret. Interesting. Players who have the green cube are part of the Minutions faction, and the player or players with the red cube are part of the Meanies faction. Then we are going to take one other green cube and one other red cube and put them on the starting spaces of their corresponding tracks. These will be used to keep score. Next, we're going to put all of the white, black, blue, and yellow cubes in the bag. These are called the mission cubes. Then we're going to randomly choose the first player, aka the guide, and we are going to give them the 6-sided die. And that's the setup. Meanies in Our Midst is played in a series of rounds, and each round consists of 4 phases. Starting with phase 1, mission planning. The guide will roll the die to determine which mission cubes will be required for the current mission. Okay, in this instance, we rolled a 6, so the required cubes are black and white. Then the guide must choose some of the other players, called the explorers, to join the guide on the mission this round. The explorers chosen to go on the mission must do so and are not allowed to refuse to go on the mission. Roll a number of times and choose a number of explorers as indicated by your player count. This will be outlined in the rulebook. So for a 4-player game, this will be 2 die rolls and 2 explorers. After each die roll, the guide places a disc on the island card in the space corresponding to the result of that die roll. Just know multiple discs are allowed to be on the same space, and the color of the disc doesn't matter. The cube icons under each space designate what color cubes are required to complete the mission for each disc on that space. Let me just show you an example. Once again, we're playing a 4-player game, so as the guide, I would roll the die once, and I place it here on the 4, and then I'd roll twice, and I will place one on the 1, and then I would choose 2 explorers to join me. Now we move on to phase 2, on the mission. It's important to know that in this phase, it is forbidden to speak or communicate in any way, other than that you are ready to act, finish acting or are letting the next player know that it's their turn. Each player on the mission will draw 4 mission cubes from the bag, keeping them secret from other players. The guide secretly chooses 2 mission cubes to keep and puts the other 2 back in the bag. Then, taking turns in clockwise order and starting with the explorer to the left of the guide, the explorers each choose 2 mission cubes in secret to give to the guide and return the other 2 to the bag. The cubes must not be seen by anyone else, including the guide. The guide should hold out an empty hand with their eyes closed, and once they have the cubes, put them in their other hand without looking before putting their empty hand back out again for the next person. When the guide has received all of the mission cubes from the explorers, they reveal the cubes by placing them on the table for everyone to see. So let me show you an example. Now, I had selected 2 players as the guide to come with me. So, as the guide, I will draw 4 cubes, and I will keep these secret. Then the other 2 players are also going to be drawing 4 cubes. So these would all be secret, but just for the example's sake, let's have them available for you to see, okay? I'm the guide, and just between you and me, I'm green. I'm a Meanesian. I'm not a meanie. And this is one of my Meanesian friends. But this, well, this is a meanie. So I have to secretly choose 2 of my cubes. And I know that we need a blue, a yellow, and a black. So I might choose the yellow and the black, putting the other 2 back in the bag. Next, the player to my left is going to choose 2 cubes and give them to me. So they might choose 2 black cubes, because they know we need yellow, and remember, this is a secret meanie, so they don't want us to have those yellow cubes. I put my hand out, they're going to put them in, and now I've got them. This player really wants to help me out, and they know for sure we need yellow, and they're going to throw in a blue. Okay, same deal. Got them. These ones will go back in the bag. Next up is going to be phase 3, mission results. The guide will check if all of the required mission cubes are present among those revealed. Looks like we're good. If all the required mission cubes are there, the Meanesian faction wins the round, and we will advance the green score cube 1 space on the Meanesian counter track. If at least 1 required mission cube is missing, the Meanies faction will win the round. Advance the red score cube 1 space on the Meanies counter track. Then, finally, we'll move into phase 4, mission debrief. If one of the 2 score cubes has reached the final space of the track, the game ends, and that faction wins. Otherwise, we're going to put all of the revealed mission cubes back in the bag and continue with the following steps. In this phase, you are allowed to speak, comment, make accusations, or, just ask some questions about the mission that just ended, or even previous ones if things are starting to click in your head. You are not allowed to show or talk about your faction cube, nor can you talk about the specific cube colors contributed to the mission. You also can't promise to play certain mission cubes in the future. Here's an example of something that you could say. Look, I didn't contribute any cubes that were useful for the mission because I didn't draw any of the right cubes. I'm innocent. And here's an example of something you can't say. I played the black and yellow cube. It's probably important to mention that in this game it's not only allowed but expected that players will lie and try to deceive their opponents. Once the discussion is completed, the guide must choose another player to be the new guide. Then we'll start a new round. When one of the 2 score cubes reaches the last space on the track, everyone will reveal their secret faction cubes. The player of the faction whose cube reached the end of the track, they'll win the game. And that's Meanies in our midst. Now, if you enjoyed this game and the mechanics that you've used, we'd love to recommend a few next step games for you to try. For Meanies in Our Midst, those games are the Resistance Avalon from Indie Board and Cards and One Night Ultimate Werewolf from Bezier Games. The Resistance Avalon pits the forces of good and evil in a battle to control the future of civilization. Arthur represents the future of Britain, a promise of prosperity and honor. Yet, hidden among his brave warriors are Mordred's unscrupulous minions. These forces of evil are few in number, but they have knowledge of each other and remain hidden from all but one of Arthur's servants. Merlin alone knows the agents of evil, but he must speak of this only in riddles. If his true identity is discovered, all will be lost. One Night Ultimate Werewolf is a fast game for 3 to 10 players in which everyone gets a role. One of the dastardly werewolves, the tricky troublemaker, the helpful seer, or one of a dozen other different characters, each with a special ability. In the course of a single morning, your village will decide who is a werewolf, because all it takes is lynching one werewolf to win. So if you enjoyed Meanies in Our Midst, please feel free to check out the Resistance Avalon from Indie Board and Cards and One Night Ultimate Werewolf from Bezier Games. And thank you so much joining me today to learn Meanies in Our Midst from Gateway Island. If you would like to continue playing the games from Gateway Island, I will make sure to link the How to Play playlist in the description below. There's 21 different games, so there's lots for you to learn and explore. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave those in the comments below, and I'll get to those as soon as I can. I would also love to recommend that you join the Ryder Games Discord channel. We are a thriving community of board game lovers, and we'd love to have you join. But that is everything that I have for today. I'll be back again with another Gateway Island How to Play, but until then, happy gaming, and I'll see you soon. Bye!